My name is Andrea Zuill, and I wrote the book SWEETY. It's about a naked it's a naked mole rat that is a little bit awkward. And I first came up with the idea for this book because me and my daughter had visited the San Diego Safari Park, and they had a display that had naked mole rats. And I don't know if you've ever seen one, but this is what they look like. And they're a very odd looking animal. And all I could think is, oh, they are very awkward. Awkward looking in their little eyes and their big teeth, and they don't have any fur. I'm assuming that they would probably be a little cuter if they had fur on them. So my daughter said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if you did a book about naked mole rats? Now, people actually say that to me a lot, not about naked mole rats, but about different animals. And so, but for some reason, when she said that, I pictured all of a sudden this naked mole rat with really thick glasses and then braces on her teeth, because their teeth are pretty prominent. In fact, a little fact with naked mole rats, their teeth, those two long teeth, aren't inside their mouths, they're underneath their nose. They're made that way so they can close their mouth while they dig. And they use those two front teeth to dig. They close their mouth, and they don't get a mouthful of dirt. But anyways, so when my daughter mentioned that, all I could picture is these thick glasses. And you can see Sweetie right there. She has her thick glasses and she has her braces. And then I thought, what would it be like if you were awkward even for a naked mole rat compared to all other naked mole rats that you came in contact to? So that's where I kind of started with that book. And this book for me was fairly easy to write. I think because I was an awkward child when I was little, that it was like I could think of a lot of things that occurred to me or happened to me or how I felt. So I just, this book came a little faster than other ones, but it was fun to play around with the possible things. Like, well, for one thing, I put her in clothes. Now, most books that have, even picture books that have naked mole rats, they are naked. But I want to draw her with clothes. And so you'll see that she has some clothes on, but also I was able to, you can see she likes interpretive dance. That's kind of been a joke in my family that somebody will ask you a question and then they'll say, well, maybe I'll answer that question in interpretive dance. So none of us have actually done it, but maybe I will one day. And also I really liked, hopefully you can see that clearly, she's trying on wigs because she's kind of envious of her, of this girl named Deb who has beautiful hair. It's just one hair. Anyways, but I like the idea of her trying on wigs. And another favorite part for me, and I think it's because, I don't know, it reminded me of me. She's thinking about, in this book, her Aunt Ruth has told her that, she may be a little different than other naked mole rats, but she can find her people out there somewhere. And here she is thinking, wow, am I going to come across my people? And she's wondering if there's a secret handshake involved, which, how awesome is that to have a secret handshake that, just you and your people know. So, but anyways, I don't know, she reminds me of myself, but she also reminds me a lot of people I know. And I just wanted to, what it came down to is when I started writing the story, it was mainly, I wanted to hang around with Sweetie because all my characters are kind of like friends for me. And I just wanted to write a story that had her in it. And the more I wrote about her, it was like, oh, I can see she's uncomfortable with herself to some degree. But in the end, with the help of her Aunt Ruth, who is also kind of doesn't fit into, maybe Aunt Ruth's a little odd too, but Aunt Ruth's an adult and kind of knows, if you just kind of be yourself, you will find people who appreciate who you are. I did want to bring up also, this is one of my favorite books from when I was a kid. two things about this that I liked about the story of Ferdinand is that, number one, I was a kid. I thought, okay, how pretty is that art? I mean, even as a little kid, I drew a lot and I liked art. And in this book, I just couldn't believe how beautiful the images were. And the second thing about Ferdinand the Bull is that he just kind of wants to be himself too, kind of like Sweetie. But they want him to be a fighting bull. They want him to be in the ring and fight with bullfighters. And, you know, he just wants to be peaceful. I mean, he's a really, you know, in the end, he's a really big bull. But he just wants to sit and smell flowers and relax. And boy, could I relate to that as a kid, because always felt like a lot of people expected me to be a certain way, but I couldn't be that way all the time, because I had, you know, I was me. I had my quirks. I had my way I like to do things. So in Ferdinand the Bull, it's like I really liked that at the end, he basically got left alone and got to be what, you know, what he wanted to be. So anyway, so if you haven't read that book, I really like it. It's an older book. I remember as a kid going, oh no, the pictures aren't in color, but the illustrations are so well drawn that I love it. So one thing is, if you read Sweetie, I hope that it helps you. If you ever feel like you're kind of an outsider, that it kind of helps you understand a little what's going on, and that it's kind of okay, because when you're a kid, you don't realize this, but something that you do realize as an adult is that there's a good chance you're going to find your people the more you allow yourself to be you. So let's see, what else? Yeah. So anyway, so I hope it works with you. Also, in the book, before I sign off here, is that there can be adults that help you, and that's where Aunt Ruth comes in. You know, there are, you know, if you have questions or worries, you can talk to your parents, you can talk to relatives or teachers, because there are people that are like you, that are adults that had trouble fitting in, or had trouble fitting in sometimes. So, I hope this eases your mind a little bit, because I was an odd kid, and now I'm an odd adult with lots of friends and some important friends. And I enjoy life. I have a family, and for a living, I get to right now draw unicorns every day. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing a book on unicorns now. And so I always tell my husband, can you believe it? This is my job. I'm drawing unicorns. So anyways, thank you so much. I really hope you enjoy the book, Sweetie, and have fun with it. Thank you.